Hey guys, welcome back. And in this part, we will be focusing on adding the Naruto aspect to it, so the smoke animations and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now let's add the smoke. Just need to add it inside an image tag, which we will do inside the notification component. So let me copy the image tag in here and let me add it. And for the src, let me give it as smoke.wp. You can see that the smoke comes as part of the div because it's a flex box, so it will just arrange it to the right. So we need to make it come below, so we need to put this outside this particular div. So let me remove this from here, and then I will add another div, and here I will add the image, and I'll close out this div. We need to make the smoke appear at the correct dead center and the bottom of it. So I'll just add a position relative to this property using style. Just add it inline for the time being. So position, I'll add it as relative. And for the smoke, I will add another class called a smoke. Let's create it now inside our style sheet. So, and in here I'll add this position absolute, bottom 0, 50% and transform, because it's the same positioning as the bottom class that we used earlier. So I'll just copy that again here. Now let's see, if I click it, you can see that the smoke actually comes up. But now if you see, the issue is that the GIF keeps playing. We don't want the smoke to keep playing. We just need it to come just once when the notification pops up, and then again come when it is about to leave. So to do that, we'll make use of state. I'll import a use state as well. Create another state called is smoke visible or something like this. And by the default value, I'll give it as false. Now what we need is to show the smoke only if this particular variable is true. So what I'll do is I'll just come in here, and only if smoke visible is true, only then we will show the smoke. So we need it initially to be visible, so the initial value I'll set it as true, like this. And once that animation has played once, I want to set this as false so that we'll hide the image. So let's make use of use effect to do that. And then up here I'll write a use effect that runs on mount just once, and I'll create a timer, let's say like smoke timer or something, and that will be a set timeout that I'll write. And this should essentially set our set is smoke visible to false, and we'll hide the smoke after, let's say, a small duration of maybe like 0.6 seconds or something. So now let's see this. If I come in here and I click it, you can see that the smoke only comes up once and then it kind of disappears. But there is one small issue, I don't know if you notice. It's that the smoke animation doesn't play continuously. Like sometimes it plays from the middle. So for example, if I go to click it once, you can see that it just plays from like in the middle somewhere, because that GIF is kind of continuous and the browser is taking it from the cache itself. So it's only been loaded once and the same image is being reused. So that is why this issue is causing. So let's solve that by busting the cache and making the image load fresh each time. So similar to is smoke visible, we'll also create another state called as let's call it as cache buster, so like this. And each time we will create a new value for it dynamically. So we'll use the date object for this. So what we'll do is we'll do date.now. So the idea is that every time a new notification component is rendered, we'll create a new value for this cache buster using date.now. And what you can do is inside the smoke GIF right here, which I will now convert it into a template string, template literal, and then inside of here I will add like a query parameter with a cache buster right here. So this is a very common technique used even in front end for invalidating cache. Like if some file changes and the client needs to be notified, it's a common technique that we used to use a query param like this, so that if this particular changes, it will force the browser to refetch the resource instead of reusing it from the cache. So let me go back, and now you can see that every time I press the button, the smoke animation starts playing from first, because it's not reusing it from the cache and it's being fetched fresh every time. Now if you also notice, we can see that the size of the smoke is very small. This is because we have hard coded the width and height. We don't want that. We want the width of the smoke to be the same as the width of this notification component. So the bigger the component, the bigger the smoke. So we need to dynamically get the width of this notification component. So let's do that. And we'll do this with the help of a ref. So I will use the use ref hook to create a ref. So I'll create another ref, dimension ref equal to use ref of null. I'll pass in a null value. Oops, this is const, not constant. Now when the component loads, I want to get the dimension of our notification, this particular div, so that the width of the smoke can be set dynamically. To do this, we can make use of use effect, but a better hook to use in this case is use layout effect. The difference is that use effect runs asynchronously right after browser has painted all the changes onto the UI, and use layout effect, so that's another hook called as use layout effect. So this one runs synchronously, and this runs right after React has made all the changes in the DOM, but before the browser actually paints it. So this is commonly used if you want to like do DOM measurements and stuff like that, and it doesn't cause any UI janks or like stuck issues, so because it's run synchronously. So let's do that. So let me do use layout effect function here, and this should only need to be run on the first time on the mount. And now before that, I need to set this ref onto our intended DOM element that needs to be measured, which is this particular div. So I will add a ref in here and give it the value of dimension ref. The idea is that I need to get the width of this particular div. So by the time React has made all the DOM mutations, the ref should be initialized. So what we'll do is we'll do a if condition to check if the ref is initialized first. That is by using dimension ref, and if you know ref, you know that it has a current property, so that is where the actual value of the ref will be. What I will do is can use the offset width property, so I'll do dimension ref dot current dot set width like this, and to get the width and to store it, I'll use another state. So I'll just copy this and create another state called content width, and I will initialize it to the value of 0 initially. And then inside our use layout effect, what I will do is if the dimension ref is ready, meaning if this div is actually set and ready on the DOM, and we have access to the current property of the ref and hence the width of this div, what I'll do is I'll set it into our state. So that is, I'll call set content width and store it in state. And then for our smoke, instead of hard coding the width and height like this, I'll remove the height, and for the width I'll just use this content width property. Go back and see. So now if you see, based on the size of the notification, the smoke size is also adjusted. Alright, so the next thing is that the smoke should also appear when the notification is being removed from the DOM. To go back to our custom hook, we can see that the logic where we are removing the notification is inside this hook. To go back, but our smoke appearing logic, that is written inside our notification component, so they are decoupled. So how can we sync those? So it's evident that we need a way to communicate the fact that this particular notification is about to be removed, and just before it's about to be removed, we need to show the smoke, and by setting the state to true so that it comes up. To do this, we'll add another property to our notification itself. The property called as is leaving, that is set to true just before the notification is about to be removed. So instead of destructuring it here because it's not present when the user creates it, we'll add it here, and we'll give it a default value of false because initially it's not about to leave. Instead of directly removing the notification after the duration like this, I can set the is leaving to true, and then after another little delay, I'll remove the notification. So let me create a new function for it. So I'll call it like const prepare to remove notification, something like this. And this will also take in the ID of the notification about to be removed. And what we have to do is to update the notifications array of that particular notification inside our context. So let's first make sure that I am passing in the set notification function as well into the context like this, which I will accept it here as well, just like this. And then in the prepare to remove notification function, what I'll do is from the previous notifications, I will take it using the callback function like this. Now I'll map through these previous notifications and then only change the is leaving property if we match the ID. So if notif.id is equal to our ID, if that is the case, then we will destructure notif with all the property and just change the is leaving property and set it to true. Otherwise we'll just return the notif like this. And then after that I will do a set timeout. Inside this I will run the remove notification function that is actually meant to remove the notification, and I'll pass in the ID as well, and I'll just add a small delay of maybe like 0.4 seconds or something. So essentially the prepare to remove notification function sets the notification that is about to be removed is true property to true just before it's removed, and then it will only remove the notification only after like a slight delay. just enough time for us to play the smoke animation again. So I'll just copy this function, and instead of removing notification inside our show notification function, what I'll do is I'll call this prepare to remove notification function. The typos, the return should be here now. So there we go. We don't need to explicitly mention the return statement if it's just one item. This is a much cleaner syntax thanks to ES6 JavaScript. Now inside the notification component, I'll just destructure the isLeaving property as well along with it, because we've added it now, and I'll use another use effect to listen to that. So listen to the isLeaving property. And then what I have to do is, if isLeaving is true, we need to set the smoke visibility to true. So set smoke visible to true. There we go. Let's go back and see. So if I click it, the smoke comes up, and when it disappears also the smoke animation plays. So there we go, that's good. One last thing to make the effect a little bit more realistic is to have the notification component disappear when the smoke animation starts playing. Like when it's about to leave, we can hide the notification component and just have the smoke animation play, just to simulate like they are disappearing. I'll make use of the visibility property of styles, and then come in here into our div where the notification is shown up, and I'll add a style that says I need the visibility property to be hidden if isLeaving is true. So if isLeaving is true, that means when the notification is about to leave, I'll hide this notification component, and then if it is not, then it is visible. So that's the idea. So now let's see this. So if I create it, now you can see that the notification will disappear, and then the smoke animation plays, and the whole thing is complete. So that looks good. This is the end of the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, kindly consider liking, sharing and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Also do let me know any thoughts or your feedbacks in the comment section below, and with that, yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.
神羅転生